In this video, we're going to talk about the last type of factoring that you need to know in our quadratic, solving quadratics unit, and that is AC split. The difference between this one and the one we did with just the x factor method is that you'll notice for AC split, we actually have a number out front. So that's where you're going to see your ax squared plus bx plus c. So we are going to multiply a times c, put them on the top of the x, so AC will go on the top, and then b will still go on the bottom like we did before. And then you're going to find the two numbers that multiply to give you the top and add up to the bottom. And then you'll have to do one more step where you split the middle terms and use factor by grouping. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. A in this problem is 3n squared. B is 2, and then we have our n. And then c is our negative 5. So to figure out our x, we're going to do a times c. So 3 times negative 5, which is negative 15, and put that on the top of the x. For our bottom, we're going to take that b term still, the middle one, which is a positive 2. So we need to find two numbers that multiply to give us negative 15 and add up to positive 2. Well, the only possibilities are 1 times 15 and 3 times 5. Okay, if you recall from our x method, if the top number is negative, that means one of our numbers need to be negative. So let's go ahead and try that. So now if I check these, negative 3 times 5 is negative 15, and negative 3 plus 5 is 2. So we're going to use those two numbers. Now here's the difference. Because we had something in front of our n squared there, we can't go right to our parentheses like we did in AC split. In our x method. Instead, we need to do AC split. So we're going to keep our a the same, and we're going to keep the c the same, and we're going to split the middle term into two parts. And for those two parts, we're going to use our numbers that we have on the side of our x. So we're going to do a minus 3n and a plus 5n, and then go ahead and factor by grouping from there. Okay, so you'll notice all I did was take my middle term and split it up into two numbers that still equal that middle term. So negative 3 plus 5 still gives me 2. But that helps me so that I can make two groups and factor from there. Watch this sign before your second group. If it's a minus, this is a negative in here. That could mess you up, so just be careful of that. Okay, so what we're going to do is our GCF from each group. So 3n squared and 3n, I can take 3n out of each of those. So if I divide 3 by 3, I get 1. And if I have n squared and take out n, I get an n. So I have 1n or n left over. For the second one, negative 3 divided by 3 is 1, or a negative 1. If I had an n and I took it out, I don't have any n's left. Okay, you must make sure you put the 1 there, otherwise you will not have the right answer. Okay, second group, I can divide both of those by 5, but they don't have any variables in common. So if I divide by 5, I'm left with n minus 1. From here, we need to make sure these two groups match. Okay? If they don't, we did something wrong. We need to go through and try it again. If they do, we're going to pull it out front. So we have n minus 1 because those groups matched. And then we're going to take the two parts that are in front of the parentheses and make those another group. So I have a 3n and a plus 5. This is my factored form. To check it, all you need to do is FOIL to make sure you get 3n squared plus 2n plus minus 5 for your final answer when you multiply it out. Okay, but this is our final answer here. Okay, let's try a couple more. Setting this up, I'm going to do AC split. So 2 times 7 is 14. Negative 9 goes in the bottom. So the two numbers that multiply to give me 14 and add up to negative 9 are negative 2 and negative 7. And the order does not matter for that. You just need to make sure you have both of those there with the right signs. So I have 2r squared, staying the same. I'm going to split the middle, so I have minus 2r and minus 7r. And then I have a plus 7 there. I'm going to go ahead and make two groups. And notice I'm going to put that minus sign in the middle as a negative in the middle one. That will help me out quite a bit when I have that there. So for my first group, I can divide both of those by 2r. And if I do that, I'm left with r minus 1. For the second group, I can divide them both by negative 7. And if I do that, I'm left with positive r minus 1. Once we're here, we need to make sure these two match. If they do, we're going to pull them out front. So I have r minus 1. And then my 2r minus 7 will make my second group. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, a times c. So 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. And then this is really a negative 1 in the middle. So the two numbers that multiply to give me negative 20 and add up to negative 1 are negative 5 and 4. So we're going to go ahead and do AC split. So 5b squared minus 5b plus 4b minus 4 is my problem written out. I'm going to go ahead and make two groups from there. I can divide both of those in the first group by 5b. So if I do that, I am left with 1b minus 1. Second group, I can divide them both by 4, so I'm left with b minus 1. Make sure those two groups match. And then whatever's in front of those two groups will become your second set of parentheses. So I have a 5b minus 4. Okay, so there's our final answer. Okay, go ahead and look at C. Multiply a times c. 8 times 9 is 72. Negative 18 goes in the bottom. If you're not sure, make your list. 1 times 72, 2 times 36, 3 times 24, 4 times 18, 5 doesn't work, 6 times 12, 7 doesn't work, and then 8 times 9. Okay, so the two that work will be my 6 and 12, but I need to make them both negative, so negative 6 and negative 12. And then we're going to go ahead and do AC split. So 8a squared minus 6a minus 12a plus 9. We're going to make two groups. Okay, so I can divide this first group by 2a, which leaves me with 4a minus 3. And the second group I can divide by negative 3, which leaves me with 4a minus 3. Okay, I'm going to make sure those two match. If they do, we're going to pull them out front. And then the ones in front make my second group. So I have 2a minus 3 in my second group. So that'll be my final answer. Okay, one more, and this is actually a special pattern here. 25 times 9 is 225. And negative 30 goes on the bottom. I actually happen to know that 225 is a perfect square, and it's 15 times 15. So if I use negative 15 and negative 15, I can go ahead and do AC split. So 25k squared minus 15k minus 15k plus 9, and then make my two groups. So if I make two groups there, I can divide the first group by 5k, which leaves me with 5k minus 3. I can divide the second group by negative 3, which leaves me with 5k minus 3. Then you will notice that these two groups match. So we're making a 5k minus 3 out front. And this 5k minus 3 goes second. Now notice that those two actually are the same. So I would like to write them like this, but I would actually take both answers. Okay, so if you can get to this point, you're in pretty good shape. So the only other thing we need to talk about then are hidden AC splits, and what you need to do is make sure you divide first. So my GCF here is 2, so if I divide everything by 2, I'm left with 4x squared minus 17x minus 15. If I divide everything by 4 here, I get 3x squared plus 17x plus 10. Okay, so once I've done that, now I can make my x's and do my AC split. Okay, so remember I'm multiplying a times c. So 4 times negative 15 is negative 60, and I have negative 17 on the bottom. I'll let you go ahead and figure those out. I'm going to tell you that your final answer should be final answer should be this. Okay, so once you get to that point, check it. Should get that final answer. Make sure you bring your 2 down up front. And then for this one, our final answer should be that. Okay, so again, if you have any questions, let us know. We can help you out. Have a great day.